adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice.
Described adventure, Cadet Happy is piloting a space observatory.
An invisible force that completely destroys all matter.
The sun, as though a planet were between me and the sun, an eclipse.
But it wasn't a planet?
No, Commander.
The history of space exploration began with early advances in rocketry in the 20th century, particularly during and after World War II. Rocket technology, which had primarily been used for military purposes, took on new significance in the quest for space. German engineers like Wernher von Braun, who developed the V-2 rocket, played pivotal roles in the United States and Soviet Union's space programs after the war. With tensions rising between the two superpowers during the Cold War, this rivalry soon evolved into the space race, as each nation sought to assert technological and ideological dominance. In 1957, the Soviet Union launched Sputnik 1, the first artificial satellite to orbit Earth, marking a milestone that shocked the world and ignited the space race in earnest. The satellite's successful launch showcased the Soviet Union's capabilities in space technology, prompting the United States to prioritize its own space efforts and establish NASA in 1958. This rivalry pushed both nations to achieve greater accomplishments in space exploration, leading to a series of groundbreaking missions over the next 2 decades. The Soviets claimed another major achievement in 1961 when cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin became the first human to travel into space and orbit Earth aboard Vostok 1. This monumental success made Gagarin an international hero and was a significant propaganda victory for the Soviet Union. In response, the United States intensified its efforts through Project Mercury, which aimed to send an American astronaut into space. The U.S. succeeded in 1962 when astronaut John Glenn orbited Earth, proving that America was a serious contender in space exploration. In 1961, President John F. Kennedy set an ambitious goal for the United States, landing a man on the moon before the end of the decade.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth.
This directive led to the Apollo program, one of the most complex and daring initiatives in history. The program required the development of the Saturn V rocket, the largest rocket ever built. After several preparatory missions, NASA achieved Kennedy's goal with Apollo 11 in 1969, when Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin became the first humans to set foot on the moon, an iconic moment celebrated worldwide.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Following the Apollo era, space exploration goals shifted toward longer-term missions and sustainable space presence. The Soviet Union developed space stations like Salyut and Mir in the 1970s and 1980s, allowing cosmonauts to live and work in space for extended periods. NASA also launched its own space station, Skylab, in 1973, where American astronauts conducted a range of scientific experiments in low Earth orbit. In 1975, the Apollo-Soyuz test project marked the first collaboration between the United States and Soviet Union in space. This mission, which involved an American Apollo spacecraft docking with a Soviet Soyuz, was a powerful symbol of cooperation during the Cold War. It also paved the way for future international partnerships in space exploration, a spirit of collaboration that has grown over the years. The 1980s saw the introduction of NASA's Space Shuttle program, which offered a reusable spacecraft designed to transport astronauts, satellites, and other payloads into orbit. The shuttle enabled frequent missions to space and played a critical role in constructing the International Space Station, ISS. However, the program also experienced significant tragedies, including the Challenger disaster in 1986 and the Columbia disaster in 2003, highlighting the dangers of human spaceflight. In 1998, the ISS project brought together space agencies from the United States, Russia, Europe, Japan, and Canada to build a permanent laboratory in orbit. As one of humanity's most ambitious engineering projects, the ISS has hosted international teams conducting research in microgravity, biology, and physics. The ISS represents a new era in space exploration, where collaboration supersedes competition and scientific discovery is the main objective. The 21st century introduced private companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Virgin Galactic into space exploration, challenging government-led initiatives. SpaceX made history in 2012 when its Dragon spacecraft became the first commercial vehicle to dock with the ISS. The company later pioneered reusable rocket technology, reducing the cost of space access and accelerating progress. Today, space exploration is marked by ambitious goals, including NASA's Artemis program to return humans to the Moon and eventual missions to Mars. This evolving era reflects humanity's continued curiosity and desire to explore the cosmos, with both public and private sectors aiming to expand human presence in space.